Hey everyone, how's it going? Shuffle's back here with another video, and today we are going to do a continuation of the video we started last time. If you didn't already see that video, you will be able to click on that at the end of this video, it'll pop up. Um, but I did the 4 stars that are going to be good in RTA, or at least the ones I think are going to be good in RTA. Today what we're going to do is we're going to jump into the 3 stars, and then of course next video we will do the 5 stars, so stay tuned for that one as well. Just a quick disclaimer, I'm sure some of these units you could use in like niche situations, but I'm going to try and stick with ones that might be used a little more often. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. So first one I'm going to talk about is Judith. So Judith is, I'm sure most of you know, basically she's a fantastic booster. So she can increase the CR of your entire team. What makes her really good is her base speed. So she has 117 base speed, which is faster than Oxlot's, and of course Analytica now and Bazaar. So most of the people that are used for most of the champions that are used to take first turn, she is faster than, which is really nice. So she may be used for that. Other than that, I don't think she has a place, but as a booster purely, she could be considered useful, definitely. Next person I want to talk about is Hazel, and I know a lot of people kind of have slept on Hazel because Tamarin came out at the exact same time. But I think that if you didn't have a fire healer or you didn't have a fire attack buff, you could definitely make her work. Her base stats are obviously still 3-star base stats, and she is insanely slow. Um, so that's kind of what's holding her back. But if you are using fire units, she does have a greater attack buff for fire units, so she could be usable in very specific team settings. Next is Researcher Carrot. Now, Researcher Carrot is I know some people built her and did her specialty change. She's very interesting. She's another one that could be used in very niche setups because she does do all these burns. And if you were trying to set up a team that revolved around burn and ongoing damage, and you could sustain her, then I think she could be very good. Next up on the list, I want to say that you could potentially use Nemunas. I don't think anybody's actually going to, but in case you didn't know, she can do enormous damage. I don't have her built, so I can't show you, but this girl can do incredible single target damage. So if you see one in RTA, that is what they're trying to do. They're probably trying to one-shot you, or at least one-shot somebody. Think of her sort of like a Lidica with 3-star base stats. Moving on to the water units. I really don't think that Aether is going to get any play. Um, I know that they probably want her to, but I doubt it. I think the Terranor Guard, just because so many people haven't built, it's entirely possible people could try and build like a troll team with the Terranor Guard. Um, Coming back to the top though, the Terranor Royal Guard, I have seen somebody use it in Legend Arena, and he has reflection if you're wondering what he does. So kind of like if you see a Terranor Royal Guard come in there and you have a bunch of AoEs on your team, that's what they're trying to do is they're trying to get you with reflection damage and just have you die to reflection. Moving back down to the second row, we have Monty. Obviously, the specialty change version is better. Angelic Monty is going to be all over the place because of all the debuffs. She will be used quite a bit in RTA, mainly because just as a cleanser and a healer. Um, look for some fast and really well built Monties. I want to say Lena, but I don't think she's gonna get any use. I'm sorry to everybody in stream that loves Lena, but I doubt she's gonna get any play in RTA. Moving on to the wind units. These two here both have specialty changes, and they're both going to be good. So we have Righteous Thief Fruzid and Falconer Clary, and this is going to be the return of Clary. I'm sure we're going to see her a lot. That Strip, Defense Break, Provoke will be very handy in RTA. And of course, Ruzid, the same as we talked about Judith as our first one. He's a little bit slower. He's only got 106 base speed, but he basically does the same thing. Um, so that's kind of why people would use her over him. He does, however, have better stats and a better kit due to a specialty change. So if you're going to get first turn anyway, then he would be the better choice. I'm sure some people will use Helga, as she does have an attack buff, team attack buff, so you might see some Helga. You could potentially see some Jecht as well, although I really doubt it. And I know we were briefly talking about Ains. He doesn't have a lot going on, but he does have a 2-turn stun. So if you're going up against a Specimen Says comp and they bring in Ains, that's why they would be bringing him. Over to the Dark unit. So this is where things kind of get interesting, and this is where I think a lot of these units could get some action in RTA. Starting with Phyllis. Phyllis is another defense-based unit. If you watch the 4-star video, you know that I talked a lot about units that are defense-based are going to be very strong because of the decreased health over time. So I think she's going to be really strong. That, and she's a crazy strong tank. I haven't actually 6-starred mine yet. I do want to. When I was raising her as a 4-star, she had no gear. It was like adventure. I was early game, but she had no gear. She was 4-star, like level 30 something, and I was trying to get her to level 40, and she wouldn't die, and she had no gear, and she was tanking. I was shocked. Couldn't believe it. She was keeping herself alive. So I know some people have her built. I'm curious as to how she's going to be. I will be building her and testing her out for sure. I'm sure somebody's going to use Sven in RTA. Axe God, I can see getting some play in RTA, of course, the specialty change version. Same with Lorena. A single target, element neutral damage dealers that can potentially both self-sustain, so that could be interesting. Both also can hit very hard. Axe God has a defense break as well. Otilli is up next, and we were talking about this the other day, that she has damage reduction from AoEs. So potentially you could, because she's a mage, it makes it interesting. Like normally if you're using damage reduction, it's a tank, right? You're using Fallen Cecilia, you're using Aureus, you're using Adamant Shield, you're using ML Crozet. They're all tanks. But if you wanted a mage, so you could use mage artifacts like potentially Ancient Book, and you wanted damage reduction, she could be your girl. So keep that in mind. If you see her, that's probably what she's there for. Harado is another one. He's got the AoE strip. If you either A, don't have Basar, or if you B, are going up against a fire team, Harado, or a team with fire units in it, Harado may be your best choice. He would definitely be better than Basar in that situation. So keep him in mind. He has the AoE strip. Wanda is getting a specialty change, so we'll have to see kind of what that does in order to be able to tell if she'll be good there. Rek, I'm sure people are going to try and use Rek. My problem with her is that she is insanely slow. So if we look at her base stats, she's only 106 speed, and I know that's way faster than Hazel, who we just talked about. It's actually 15 speed faster, which is crazy. But her kit means she has to go first, and out of all the people that you would like want to use to get first turn, she's the slowest one. So for that reason, I doubt she'll get much play in RTA. I'm sure if you can get insane gear on her, it would work, but I think it would just be better on somebody else. So I mean, if you're short on units and you have her, maybe she's your go-to, but we'll have to see. Up next is Batiste. I kind of like Batiste, and I'm going to try 6-starring him. I don't know if you'll see him in RTA, but in niche situations, he could also be good. He's got a defense break, an attack break. He's got a potential skill 1 AoE as well if he's already debuffed you. Against teams that don't have immunity, or I guess an immunity buffer, or a cleanse, he could be really good. And we already talked about those two. On to the light units. Airwell, I'm sure there's just better tanks out there. I can't see her being used. Mursa, I guarantee you'll see her in RTA. I've already started seeing her in Guild War and Arena. The evasion on that girl is super annoying. And beyond that, she also has a speed imprint. It's not a big one, but an extra 8 speed when you're trying to outspeed somebody is really nice. And speed-based damage is always good in things like RTA, because if you're faster than the other person and they don't get a turn, then who cares how much damage they do? Gunter is another one, kind of like Sven. I feel like somebody's going to build them just for fun. I think Rickhurst could be really good. I think Rickhurst would have been better if, this is obviously Captain Rickhurst, I think he would have been better if you weren't allowed to burn in RTA, but since we're allowed to use souls and we're allowed to burn into our skills, that makes it a little trickier since he is not a mage, but he is very good, and he's got a stun as well with his strip, so he could be interesting maybe with a Spez comp as well. Doris, this girl, I like her so much, but that 86 base speed, I really think she needs an exclusive equipment. If she ever gets one, she'll be fantastic there. She does have heal over time, as well as another heal and a defense buff. She's very strong. Problem is that base speed. Like we were talking about with speed-based damage dealers, if Doris doesn't get a turn, then she's not very good, right? So keep that in mind if you do decide to build her. I still really like her. She's amazing for PvE, but I just don't see her working for PvP. Same with Elson. I don't see it happening. Celeste, maybe you'll probably see some Celeste in RTA just because she's so fast. And if they can pair her with a CDOM, then I'm sure it'll make it work. Problem with this, well, let's start with the positives. The positives is she's that 128 base speed. Second highest base speed in the game. Really, really strong in terms of her base speed, so she's probably going to get first turn. Now, the downfall is in RTA, you can't really bring in units that like are pairs, right? So doing like an Oxlot's Cleave is difficult because people are just going to ban your Oxlots. Same thing with Celeste. If you bring Celeste CDOM, people are probably just going to ban the CDOM, and then your Celeste kind of falls off from there, and she's not going to do much for you. So keep that in mind. Gloomy, I think, is going to be an RTA. I know people tried building her for Guild War. She does have the buff transfer, I think. When the cast, yeah. So she transfers buffs. She's immune to stun, sleep, provoke. Wait, does she transfer buffs? Chance being granted an extra turn after protecting the enemy when the caster is debuffed. Okay, so she's chanced an extra turn. Maybe she doesn't transfer debuff. Oh yeah, there it is. Attacks all enemies with magic with a 75% chance to transfer debuffs. This would have been very good as a Dizzy counter, but Dizzy's not allowed in RTA, so, or at least not yet. So I don't know where you would use this. Maybe against, you could bring her in against a Seaside Bellina if she defense breaks you, or if she buff blocks and heal blocks you. Problem is the rest of your team's still affected, but she is immune to stun and any kind of CC. So maybe if you're going in against a CC comp, you could bring her. So she'll get some play for sure, and she's a mage. Next is Kickrat, and I really like Kickrat. I've been using him in Guild War more and more, and he always seems to win when I bring him in. So he is kind of niche. He does have 3-star base stats, so tanking makes it a little tricky. He's kind of better on auto, in my personal opinion, because of his skill 3, puts up the counterattack. So not many people are gonna. When it's on auto, you can bring it into a dark team, and they're just gonna focus him, and then he can revenge kill them. In RTA, they just won't attack your light unit until the counterattack buff is gone. So it is a short cooldown, but he's very, very slow, which is a huge issue for RTA. He's only got 90 base speed. And on top of that, they can kind of avoid him while he's got the buff up, and he won't do much in the meantime. That being said, I'm sure somebody will try and use him. Same with Eaton. Eaton's kind of similar. He's tankier than Kickrat, but he's going to do less damage. So same sort of idea there. And we already talked about Rickrus. So that's going to be it for today, guys. I hope this helped you guys out and gave you some ideas for RTA if you do plan on trying to build some 3-stars. The nice thing about them is that you can skill them up using only a Catalyst and Stigma. So if you're short on Molas and you need something say a tank for a certain situation, or you need a booster, then consider using a 3-star because you can skill them up for free instead of waiting for a Molus to come in from your weekly reset. So thanks again for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you haven't watched the 4-star one, make sure you click on that now and watch that one. Or if you haven't seen the 5-star one, then that one will be coming up soon. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day. Bye for now, guys.